Algerian senior political figures take part in a ceremony held at the Foreign Affairs Ministry to commemorate the 61st anniversary of the glorious November Revolution. Plus, Egypt's Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry is expected to arrive in Algeria on Sunday to participate in talks about the latest developments in the Libyan crisis. And later on in our news program, the Justice and Development Party leads Turkish snap elections with a wide margin according to an official preliminary results. Hello ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the news live and welcome to this English news edition. First in our top stories, Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Ramtana Mamra and former Mujahideen minister took part in a ceremony held at the Foreign Affairs Ministry to commemorate the 61st anniversary of the glorious November Revolution. On this occasion, a conference was led by Mujahideen Mohammed Boudadou, known as Si Mansour, who recounted how the Maquis were supplied with weapons during the revolution. In charge of coordinating between the National Liberation Front units in Morocco to purchase and convoy of weapons, Si Mansour recounted the problems and the long episodes experienced while buying and transporting the weapons from the western neighbor to the Maquis of the National Liberation Army. Deputy Minister of National Defense and Chief of Staff of People's National Army ANP, Lieutenant General Ahmed Gaid Saleh, underlined on the occasion of the commemoration of the 61st anniversary of the outbreak of the glorious liberation war that the ANP Army keeps up developing its fighting force, working for the organization of its different components and promoting its capacities to become an institution with faultless performance. Mohammed Barazwan.
The valiant ANP army continues under the command and the full support of His Excellency the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelaziz Bouteflika, to upgrade its fighting resilience and work tirelessly to organize its different components and promote its human and material capacities to become an institution with coherent and complementary entities and a faultless performance, said Lieutenant General Ahmed Gaid Saleh. The objective is to make the Algerian people proud of its children in ANP and rely on them that our army can show its affection, compassion, solidarity and fraternity, which are gaining ground by leaps and bounds from day to day, he affirmed. Such are distinctive signs that reflect the strength of the relation between the people and the army. Blessed are these strong and noble popular ties that we as soldiers encourage the National People's Army to forge ahead with determination and resolution to preserve the legacy of the brave martyrs and protect the eternal message of the lofty November Revolution, underscored Lieutenant General Gaid Saleh. As part of Algeria's solemn commemoration of the 61st anniversary of the outbreak of the glorious Liberation War of November 1st, 1954, several cultural and sporting activities were scheduled by the ANP in various parts of the national territory.
With every historic event, the controversial French war crimes committed by the French colonialism always come back to the surface. Political analysts are betting big on the French socialists to be the side to finally recognize the heinous crimes of colonial France and turn over the page of the past. Karim Fassakri.
With every historic or revolutionary event, the controversial topic of recognizing and apologizing for the French war crimes committed by the French colonialism always comes back to the surface. In the same context, and after the left reached power, the bet of the political class in Algeria was big to turn over the page of the past. When it regards specific files in foreign affairs, the left and the right become all united French. The case isn't linked with the political sides, left or right, that is. It's about the state's policies, which are still bound with the accumulations of the past. The reign period of the socialist is almost over, while the memory file between Algiers and Paris is still there. The way the socialists deal with the common history between the two countries was marked with somewhat common understanding and agreement on the suffering of Algerians, even if it didn't reach a stage of official apology. The demands of Algeria on the necessity of an official apology and the recognition of war crimes committed by colonial France are not going to be forgotten with time, nor are they going to be conceded on by the independence generation. The relationship between France and Algeria is historic, and only history could adjudicate. The French now realizes that their history from the period of 1830 up to 1962 is dark, and they have to apologize, be it by historians or officials. This recognition has a moral value. What François Hollande offered to Algeria was mere sympathy with Algerians' pain and suffering. However, many analysts believe that if Algeria is going to get any apology, it's going to be from the left in France. The socialist is the side from which we can expect a future recognition for the war crimes. But this depends on the dominant political equations in France and the political and electoral exploitation of this file. Despite the weight of the file between Algiers and Paris, the Algerian-French relations are sometimes warm and sometimes stricken by a diplomatic chill, but has never come apart due to the so many common traits between the two.
In other national news, Algeria's forthcoming constitutional amendments have recently disappeared from the public discussion and among the political elite. However, the subject comes back to the surface with the announcement of the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelaziz Bouteflika, the revision of the constitution soon. Many questions were raised, and one of them is, will Algeria finally agree on a constitution that would guarantee foundations of a peaceful democracy? Let's find out more.
Algeria's forthcoming constitutional amendments, first introduced by President Bouteflika in May 2014, have recently disappeared from public discussion and among the political elite. Following a period of intense official political discourse, the subject of constitutional amendment, however, has risen to the surface with the announcement of the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelaziz Bouteflika, to revise the constitution soon. This news comes amidst what has reportedly been described a political conflict in discussions among civil society, associations, political parties such as FFS Party last Friday, academics and other experts.
We have to come to an agreement. What's going on now in the country, in our country actually, we are supposed to come to an agreement. We are supposed to come around, to sit around the table and say what's going on, what is right, what's going on good, and what is wrong, and find solutions. I think the amendment is coming very soon, hopefully, and the President has good intentions in trying to have a constitution that would bring peace, more health, more wealth for the country, generally speaking.
When discussing the drafting of a constitution, there is no typical political model for newly established democracies. But could a semi-presidential model in Algeria meet the conditions of transformation in the first phase of the constitutional process? Or are developing countries such as Algeria more in need of a presidential system capable of finding radical solutions rather than reviving the old regime?
Actually, we should not think in terms of limiting or empowering. The objective is serving the country, serving the nation. This is the vision we should have. This is the way we should think. I think the coming constitution, I believe myself that definitely the President is the only one who can decide on the amendments, the future amendments. But I think the President, Abdelaziz Bouteflika, is wise enough, is conscious enough of what's coming, what's about the dangers that Algeria is facing actually, and what we have faced during ages, for a couple of years again. I think the new constitution, whatever the political parties, either those who are in power or the opposition, I think everybody will find himself in the new constitution, and I think the president has this wisdom of actually putting forward Algeria in the great nations, and this is the hope that we are actually looking forward.
To avoid having a parliamentary system to actually become a tool to dismantle the state, the regime in Algeria believes that a constitution is required to preserve the sustainability of the political regime and its actions, along with some type of mobilization that meets the demands of key constituencies without further raising tensions that might lead to a total collapse of the existing political system and the political process. But the question is, what can the next constitution offer in terms of rights and freedoms?
Have enough rights for the moment. I think we have all Algerians, I mean, we are all expecting things from the government, from the country, but we have to ask the question, what are we giving? What are we in return? I mean, this country has given us everything. I believe in this myself. I've been educated, I've reached certain levels, in education and positions in Algerian community. But now we have to think differently. What are you going to bring? What are you going to offer? But in terms of consensus, I think the president, again I say it, he has nothing to earn. He has nothing to have in his possession, because he has everything. He has this wisdom. So he will be, I think he gave a round table for all the political parties, all the decision makers, and all the specialists. I think there will be a consensus.
The president's announcement raises the hope that this constitution review will contribute to the strengthening of the foundations of a peaceful democracy in all areas and would enable all political and economic actors, as well as all the social workers in the country, in the interest of serving the people, the only source of a true democratic legitimacy.
Egypt's Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry is expected to arrive in Algeria on Sunday to participate in talks about the latest developments in the Libyan crisis. Egyptian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ahmed Abu Zayed said in a statement on Sunday that Shoukry will participate in tripartite talks with his Italian and Algerian counterparts in Algeria. The meeting will discuss the latest developments in the Libyan crisis and the support for efforts to form a national unity government in Libya. Moving on to world news, Turks are going to the polls in parliamentary elections for the second time in 5 months. Attempts to form a coalition government since then have proved unsuccessful. Security is the key issue in the election after weeks of violence involving Kurdish rebels and bomb attacks blamed on the so-called Islamic State group. Mustafa Azok.
Turks have voted in parliamentary polls for the second time in 5 months, as President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's AK party tries to regain its majority. Attempts to form a coalition government after elections in June failed. Previously, the opposition stated that the vote is a chance to curb what it sees as Mr. Erdogan's increasingly authoritarian tendencies. Security is a key issue amid clashes with Kurdish members and attacks blamed on ISIS. The election came as Turkey is facing its worst violence in years. Renewed fighting between Turkish security forces and Kurdish rebels has killed hundreds of people and shattered an already fragile peace process. 2 recent massive suicide bombings at pro-Kurdish gatherings that killed some 130 people, apparently carried out by the Islamic State group cell, have also increased tensions. Turkey is a key US ally in the fight against ISIS, and since it hosts more Syrian refugees than any other nation in the world, plays a crucial role and put efforts to end the war in Syria. The latter might resolve Europe's massive immigration crisis.
In the same context, the Justice and Development Party leads Turkey's snap elections with a wide margin. According to unofficial preliminary results, the party is leading Sunday's general elections with 41.1% of the votes, while 92% of the votes have been counted. The AK party is followed by the center-left Republican People's Party with 23.4% of the votes, pro-Kurdish left-right People's Democratic Party with 10.3%, and the far-right Nationalist Action Party with 11.6% in Sunday's polls. Teams investigating the fate of a Russian airliner which crashed in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula on Saturday, killing all 224 on board, have widened their search for bodies and debris. So far, 163 bodies have been found, but the search area was extended to 15 kilometers after some were located away from the main wreck of the Airbus 321. Russia is observing a day of mourning after its worst air disaster. Egypt and Russia dismissed IS claims that its terrorists were responsible. Terrorists allied to the so-called Islamic State in Sinai, where such groups are active, made a claim on social media that they had brought down flight KTL 9268. Always with the same context, the Russian airliner that crashed in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula broke apart in the air, according to an Russian official. Viktor Sorochenko, executive director of Russia's Interstate Aviation Commission, said that it remained too soon to determine what caused Saturday's crash of the Metrojet flight with 217 passengers and a crew of 7. The plane was en route from Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt to St. Petersburg when it dropped off radar screen 23 minutes into the flight. And finally, to wrap up our English news edition, Democratic Republic of Congo club TP Mazembe became favorites to claim a 5th African Champions League title after winning 2-1 USM Algerias of Algeria on Saturday in the first leg of the final. The two sides will meet again on the 8th of November in Lubumbashi for the second leg. Oussama Snossi.
Democratic Republic of Congo's TP Mazembe produced a vivid attacking display to come within touching distance of a 5th African Champions League triumph after beating USM Algiers 2-1 at the Omar Hamadi Stadium in the final first leg on Saturday. A sublime effort from Rainford Kalaba gave Mazembe a first-half lead, and they were unlucky not to go to the locker room with a bigger lead after USM keeper Mohamed Lamine Zamamouche pulled off a string of impressive saves. Kabala was then sent off on the stroke of half-time for an off-ball incident, but Mazembe remained in control, with USM also losing Hussein Al-Orfi to a deserved red card after earning a second bookable following a handball 7 minutes past the hour mark. Nathan Sinkala's resulting penalty was blocked, but Mbawa Samata converted another spot kick to put Mazembe 2-0 up before USM substitute Mohamed Sugar gave his side a glimmer of hope with a late goal. Barring an upset, Mazembe are likely to be crowned African champions for the 5th time when they host USM in the second leg in Lubumbashi on November the 8th. Should they preserve their first leg advantage, they will equal the 5 titles won by Egypt's Zamalek. Egyptian giants Ahli, Zamalek's Cairo rivals, are the record winners with 8 titles under their belt.
The end of our English news edition, brought to you live from Dzair News channel. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.